You're listening to Nightmare on Film Street. The current time is 6:66. Traffic is clear ahead from here to the afterlife, but it's hell outside. For the next hour, you're on Nightmare time. So, let's give a grave welcome to our hosts, John and Kim.
Hello again, fiends, and welcome to Nightmare on Film Street, horror for the casually obsessed. I'm Kim.
I'm John.
And this week, we are delving into an episode that is near and dear to my heart, something that I've been trying to get on the podcast forever, and have finally broken John down enough to get him to do it. We're doing Titles of Terror, and we're kicking it off with The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave.
Now, that's a great title. You want to tell everybody what you mean by Titles of Terror, maybe?
It's a great title.
Okay, so yeah, these movies, we're talking about them just because the title's so good. Now, the movie lives up to the title.
Yes, absolutely.
Same with the movie that we'll be talking about on part 2. I've been trying to get that movie on the podcast for a while as well.
Well, good. This is a compromise. The titles are dope.
We finally come together on this. Yeah, The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. This was a movie we bought sight unseen because that title was too fucking good.
Yeah, and I'm not envying future myself for having to fit that title in our graphic design.
Oh, sure, that's
for
gonna
the
be fun.
podcast
Yeah.
image. That is going to be real interesting.
It's one of those things where, like, maybe we shouldn't have even put a title on the podcast because the title of the movie sells everything you need to know.
Yeah, that's true. Like, we just, face value.
Like, how do you put a tagline on this movie for the poster even? You're just like, I don't think it needs it.
The title is the tagline.
Yeah, I will say that the Arrow video the Arrow video disc we have has a tagline on the front of it, and it says, "The worms are waiting."
Ooh.
Isn't that great?
That's good. Yeah, I fucking love a long title.
Duh. Nightmare on Film Street.
That's not a long title. I don't know what there's something about it. It's
a short story in 8 words.
A short story in 8 words. Yeah, it's like a really dope poster. The poster is going to be good because you have those words scrawled in huge lettering over whoever the fuck cares. Like a skeleton with a great wig. Perfect.
Which is exactly what the poster is. It's just like a skeleton lady
with a great wig.
Holding up a severed head of a man who's not in the movie. Yeah, whatever.
And the best thing about it too is you're given such a lofty premise by the title that the whole movie, there are several nights in this movie. It isn't a one night movie.
No.
So every night
it's like the fortnight Evelyn came out of the grave.
Yes. So every night every night in the film you're like, is tonight the night? Is tonight the night? And eventually it is the night.
So this might be a movie that a lot of people listening have not necessarily heard. I think more than ever, this is a great time for 3 good things, why people should check it out. I don't really think you need a plot synopsis up top, like, oh, there's a woman named Evelyn. She died a while back.
She comes out the grave.
She's coming out of the fucking grave. So Kim, 3 good things about the night Evelyn came out of the grave.
Yeah, the first thing I'm going to say is that this movie is super decadent. It's super luxurious. The sets are really cool. The characters themselves are really fantastically dressed. Alan Cunningham, the lead character, got velvet suits for days. You've got some killer late 60s hair. I know this came out I think 1970, but
yeah,
it's 60s.
Early 70s.
Yeah, it's 60s style hair. It's set in a castle.
It's set in multiple castles.
Yeah, so you are given a treat of just visuals. There's wallpaper, there's what do you call them? Frescoes, Grecian frescoes, Rome wall paintings. It's opulent as fuck.
I don't know what would I pick for number 2? I'm trying to find something hella specific. But okay, I'll say this. It's a giallo movie, but it's also kind of like an Edgar Allan Poe gothic horror.
That was going to be my point, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess seance. There's a fucking seance in this giallo movie.
Yeah, you have a haunted castle, you have a seance, you have an eerie painting, you have a potential ghost haunting a new wife. It's got everything you need for that perfect gothic story. It's the portrait of Dorian Gray with scorned wives and
Love it.
cheating.
Yeah.
But it's also a giallo. It's also a serial killer film.
Uh-huh.
It's everything.
It's a lot.
That's why I said decadent. This movie said no to nothing.
Decadent really kind of like sums it all up. What's our last good thing?
With most giallo films, there is some really great camera work, some really cool shots, POVs. They do some really inventive stuff with the camera, and there's like a lot of tree lurking, which I really like.
there's always a peeper every time. Like it's like trying to cast suspicion on somebody. Like, oh, who's committing these murders? Who's behind the mystery? You gotta have a groundskeeper that you can't trust.
Yeah, like, and I'm not gonna lie, the plot is a little convoluted because there's just so much that they're trying to do. They're trying to do a mystery, they're trying to do a slasher, they're doing a lot.
Yeah.
And even when the story starts to fail you, at least visually, it's super captivating and inventive. So like there's always something worth seeing with whatever they're serving.
The trailer is mostly just text and thunderclap sounds, so enjoy that for a few seconds, and we'll be back very shortly.
Real good sell, John.
Where are you?
Alan, I'm waiting for you. Are you sure that Evelyn is really dead? Come with me.
No. Please, Evelyn.
It was Evelyn. No, I warned her it would be dangerous.
Destroy it.
The night Evelyn came out of the grave. Do we want to try and do we want to try and butcher the Italian title for this? You want to try reading this?
La noche Evelyn usi dalla tomba.
There you go.
Usi? Yeah.
Bueno. Yeah, the night Evelyn came out of the grave, currently sitting at a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb, a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Fools.
And a
all of them.
3.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Yeah, this is definitely a movie that will show up on a sort of forgotten giallo list. Like once you're done watching all the Argento movies, here's, if you want to peel back the carpet and see some of the movies that aren't always talked about in the giallo genre, this is definitely one that's going to show up. And you got a gorgeous restoration from Arrow Video waiting for you. It's probably on their service. I'm not sure. We don't subscribe to Arrow Video right now, but we picked up a disc at a film festival once where they had a booth, and we've never regretted that decision.
No, I think this is maybe one of the impulse Arrow Video buys that we've actually watched the most. Some of them we haven't even watched them because that's something that you always end up doing. You're like,
how many times do you need to watch Microwave Massacre?
I need 66 movies today.
There is something about this movie that I just, if it didn't kick the movie off, I would love to just not bring it up until the very end of the movie. But our lead character is a serial killer.
And we all know.
We all know. Half the characters in the movie know.
Everyone knows.
But at some point, not important anymore.
Not important at all.
Just gone. It is your classic, I'm a guy who's just been released.
I'm a guy.
I'm just a regular Joe. No, what I'm getting at is it's a gothic horror story about a person who's gone mad after the death of their wife. And then they meet a new woman who looks, despite not having red hair, looks...
It's key. The red hair is key.
Is very key. Is remarkably similar to his ex-wife. wife, his late wife, and
Evelyn.
and Evelyn, and the vibe in the castle gets haunted, and maybe Evelyn's here and she's unhappy about all this, and people start
not
dying.
the murders that he's been committing,
No.
but the new marriage.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's that classic gothic horror template, but then for just like a little seasoning on top, they're like, what if our lead was a bad dude? Like, what if he spent his nights finding women that looked remarkably similar to his late wife,
killing every redhead in Italy.
and killing them to get revenge that he could not enact on his wife before she died.
Okay, so saying that though, do you think he killed Evelyn? Because slowly through these hallucinatory visions from Alan, our lead character, we do discover that Evelyn was being unfaithful because she was prancing naked in the field with a guy that evidently wasn't her husband, I learned at the end of the movie.
We never see who that guy is,
No,
right?
and the trees are very well placed to not show anyone's weenus.
Oh, yeah. It's like the Garden of Eden. Like, she's running toward this mysterious man of hers, and her gown just falls off into the wind, and they embrace and roll around
And
in the
tumble,
grass.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But he definitely has seen this.
Does he discover it and then murder them both? Is that why she's dead? Like, how is Evelyn in the grave? Nobody tells us.
I thought I was just stupid, and my brain had just drifted off at one point while watching it, and I just did a quick little skim on the plot in Wikipedia. I saw zero information
like,
about how she died.
So Evelyn's dead.
There is a plot beat halfway through the movie, like, oh, maybe Evelyn faked her death, and she's now trying to haunt you, like, to drive you mad.
Yeah, because his new wife is like, are you sure she's not dead?
I'm pretty sure I saw a fucking ghost in the kitchen.
And, like, this is a good point. This is a good part here for Alan to maybe tell us and his new wife how she died.
But no, not at all.
Because the last moment of Evelyn, in terms of what the audience knows, is that fornication scene.
No, first and last. This is the only thing we know about her, is that she cheated on him. We don't know anything else.
That's very true. So I'm assuming that he killed her after seeing her cheat, and now he can't get over it, and so he's just killing her over and over and over again.
So that's why I think that he
love.
didn't kill her, because he didn't get that chance, and now he's like real mad that he didn't have that opportunity.
But I think
so
it's even darker if he did kill her and he just keeps killing her.
Really? I don't.
He's just so let down by Evelyn.
I don't know. I guess
either one could be true.
When I think about him killing other women because he's killed his wife already, that sounds like it's like an unlock code that I put into my own brain. Like,
now he can be a serial killer.
Yeah, like, I didn't know how much I loved this, and I have to do it over and over, but they have to look like my wife, otherwise I'm not into it. I think it's even darker if he didn't. Like,
also, what's the deal with the boots? Evelyn didn't wear the boots.
He makes them put on boots. He makes these women put on boots, and they're allowed to wear whatever they want, but they have to wear the fucking boots. And then he whips them, and then I guess he stabs them to death. He's got a whole thing.
The murders are a lot. So he's got this castle in the country. At the beginning of the film, he lives in the city. So this castle is like his den of inequity. He's got one really cool pad in there, and then a sex death dungeon.
Yes.
And that's it.
Everything else is essentially crumbling.
Cobwebs.
Yeah. But at some point, he just meets with his estate manager. He's like, yes, I think we should restore the castle. Begin immediately. You have a month. And then the next scene, it's done. You know,
it's gorgeous.
They've just got that kind of money, I guess.
Well, he's worth £3 million, John.
He's worth £3 million in velour suits, is what he's worth. But yeah, there's a lot of long cigarette smoking, and just a lot of rich parties that he goes to. It seems like they have they're.
All the parties are in the same field, and they're his field.
It seems they have the air of royalty. Like, I think they actually have titles. I think there's even a conversation at some point with his cousin, who keeps trying to set him up with other redheaded ladies, that they're thinking about getting rid of their title and just becoming an anonymous rich person. And the idea of that, he's like, oh, no, you couldn't possibly lose your title.
Yeah, I think he's a sir. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, he's been knighted. I have no idea. Somebody that's been given land hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
The Cunninghams.
Yeah, the Cunninghams, that classic Italian family. Yeah, so this cousin of his keeps setting him up or at least tipping him off to redheaded women that
And
look
they
like
keep
his wife.
disappearing.
Yeah, and he's like, so, did you ever go to that club? Did you ever see that girl sing? Like, no, I never went. Like,
"Oh, shame
that's
she's
unfortunate.
missing."
Yeah. Oh, you really missed out. Like, if only she wasn't presumed dead.
And he's got a collection of false license plates. He is really invested in, this dark serial killer spin he's mentally going on.
Yeah, so like when we first watched this, like the opening 5 minutes are like a perfect short film. There's like a cold open where he's like running away from a mental institution, and then they catch him in a coliseum, and then they drug him, and then the real movie starts. I
forgot that.
Forgotten about
I've
that.
already forgotten that.
Yeah.
That's not this movie.
But it's a guy in a nice car who shows up, picks up a girl on the street. She's obviously a sex worker because they immediately start talking
But she's
about money.
gorgeous.
Yeah, she's amazing. And before they get to his house, he stops the car. He's like, "Let us stop. Let us have a cigarette. I do not like to drive and smoke." And then she's like, "Yeah, that sounds great.
In
I
the
would
middle
love
of
to."
nowhere.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go out and check the tires.
Go kick the tires.
Yeah, and-
as you do on a date.
We had no idea what movie we were in for. Again, we bought this solely on the title. So we have zero expectations of what's going on. We don't know who this guy is. We don't know what he wants. We don't know anything. He gets out of the car and just kicks off the license plates and reveals that he's disguised his license plates. Like, oh shit, I think he's a bad dude. Like, I think
you're
he's
like, oh fuck,
kidnapping this
he's
woman.
gonna murder this girl.
This could go absolutely anywhere, and that's where it goes. He ties that girl up and he murders that girl.
He does give her a nice shawl first.
Yeah, and we see him do this a whole bunch. His psychiatrist even shows up, like, "Oh, hey, see that you're in the castle
psychiatrist.
again."
Oh god, the psychiatrist is my favorite part because when he shows up, he's like, "Are you killing ladies again?"
Does he say that at all?
No, but he fucking knows.
I think he just
He
knows.
doesn't say that exactly. He's like, "Dude, you got to stop with the redheads, bud. Stop with your danger tunnel and your evil chamber of horrors."
We have no idea what he knows about this guy. We don't have any scenes ever in the movie about his treatment in the institution beforehand, because like the whole idea is that his wife died and he went mad because of it, and
Because he killed her.
I like to imagine that
So she just died. She was just full of health and naked romps in the field and then just died.
What's a gothic horror story without some tragedy?
All right, well, give us the tragedy.
Consumption. She died of consumption. Yeah, no, I think he sequestered himself away in the West Wing and slowly plotted out his revenge against his wife. And while he was up there, thunder and lightning blazing, plans, schemes, schematics.
She forgot to eat.
Yeah, she died, and then he was like, "No, I'll never murder her with my own bare hands," and it drove him insane. And now
Whatever, we're just gonna disagree on that because I think that he murdered her.
okay. The point is, Evelyn's dead. We don't know how, we don't know why, but her presence looms large over the entire castle.
I will agree with that.
Yeah. He, in his pursuit of murder,
It's not a pursuit. He's just crazy.
accidentally finds the new love of his life.
I don't know. I think what happens is he lets one redhead get away. Things are going crazy.
Does she get away?
She does get away because she's in the fucking ending, John.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think she got away. I thought she died, but turns out, whoops, she didn't.
Well, it's like while he's chasing her and attacking her, he passes out in Evelyn's
It
tomb.
happens a few times.
There's a lot of convenient fainting in the movie, yeah. But hey, he was insane at one point, so I guess that makes sense.
It's weird that they never put him on medication. They're just like, stop murdering people and get a wife who doesn't have red hair.
He's like, hey, I'll stop murdering people when I'm not worth 3 million pounds, okay?
Yeah, and I don't think he's in love with Gladys. So he meets this woman at a party, and she's blonde, and he's like, fuck, this is great. I don't feel like murdering her.
That's how you know it's love.
So he's
I
like,
don't feel like murdering this one. She must be my new wife.
yeah, so that very first night, he's like, let's get married. we know that he's planning on this because, one, the doctor told him to do it, and two, he's getting the castle redone in only a month in anticipation of bringing a new bride there.
Okay.
Because he, like, immediately life is all set up for him. He's moved to the country. He's got a blonde wife he doesn't want to murder. But he's still having trouble letting go of Evelyn because he won't get rid of the creepy painting in their bedroom.
Yeah, don't you love a creepy? It's not
I
even a
love
creepy painting. It's just a portrait of a dead woman.
It's creepy.
It's
'Cause
creepy
she's
if you
dead.
throw a bunch. Okay, fine.
Woo.
Given the circumstances, it's a creepy painting. But yeah.
Also, they zoom in on her eyes a whole bunch. I think that's creepy.
All right, sure, yeah.
She's like, oh, they forgot his glass of milk.
His new wife can't handle the painting. Eventually, she forces him to destroy it. She destroys it herself, though, which
Because
is rad.
her fucking ghost keeps appearing in the window, and Alan gives zero fucks about it.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's not alarmed at all. He doesn't try and chase after this ghost. He's not. It's like he's like, oh yeah, the ghost. Yeah, it comes in the spring.
This is a universe. This film exists in a universe where ghosts exist, and that's cool, and men are serial killers, and that's also cool because
yeah,
he's a serial killer. We talked about the doctor kind of knowing. There's a groundskeeper we haven't talked about as much,
right?
Who happens to be Evelyn's brother.
Yep.
So Alan is paying him off.
He's kind of like a groundskeeper, caretaker. Like he has a role on the estate.
He's taking care of some foxes.
Yeah.
But they also have foxes. And this groundskeeper keeps witnessing him, Alan, murdering women that look like his dead sister.
Yeah.
And does nothing about it.
Does nothing.
Absolutely nothing comes of it. There's no, like, bigger plot. He's not trying to frame him. He's not trying to bribe him. He's just like, yeah, just keep giving me, like 500 pounds every time you see me, and I'll keep feeding the foxes.
I mean, he does have he's presented as like a wild card. Maybe he's.
It's because he hides in the trees. That's as deep as it goes.
I mean, at some point while he's lurking around in the trees, somebody hits him over the head and he dies. Like there's that, but nothing really comes of it. It is just sort of a misdirect.
Yeah, he's just a red herring.
Yeah.
But an underdeveloped red herring.
Underdeveloped is the speed we're working at with this entire movie. It's what makes it so good.
So, but what I was getting to before I went on my weird tangent is that ghosts also exist in this universe, and nobody gives a fuck because they have a seance, and where you're like, oh,
okay, yeah.
Fuck yeah, seance scene, this is gonna be so cool. And Alan's like, maybe I can get some closure from this. Maybe I can talk to Evelyn, and we can like sort things out, and then I can get over her being dead and not keep killing women.
Yes.
And as soon as Evelyn appears, and everybody's cool with it.
Everybody sees Evelyn. It's not just a hallucination he has.
Everybody looks up at this ghost, and then Alan's like, oh, and passes out. And then the seance ends, and everybody's like, Alan couldn't handle that ghost. What a loser.
Yeah, what a loser. If only he hadn't have fainted, maybe we could have communicated with her. Like, until they said that line, I thought he was the only one that could see her.
And
no one reacted.
Yeah, no one was exhilarated. No one was, like, giddy with laughter. No one was super, like, what did we see? Like, this was not the scene in Beetlejuice where they all did the shrimp cocktail dance and we're like, oh my god, this is so much fun. Ghosts exist. Ha!
Right, Harry Belafonte, not made for this moment.
They were just like, ugh. Our seance was cut short. What are we going to do tonight?
Ugh, gross. We got to talk to each other now? Hate it.
Fucking Alan.
At some point, Evelyn does come out of the grave.
She does.
And
it is
fucking
so
incredible.
So worth waiting for.
Because every other time that Alan has gone into Evelyn's tomb, where she's been interred or whatever.
You don't know it's her tomb because she's technically buried at the cemetery. So the family has a what do you call it? Like a mausoleum at an actual cemetery, and Evelyn's tomb is supposed to be there. Got her name on it. There are really old Cunningham graves in a private ruinsy mausoleum on the property, and when Alan restores the house, he says like, oh, just
go ahead and brick that up for me.
Just hide all those old secret
so
corpses.
No one can break in, is what he says.
So Evelyn can't come out, the grave.
Every time he's stepped foot in there, he's passed out. And sometimes when he shows up, that like there's obviously a gas leak or something, right? But
The night Evelyn lit the gas leak.
so the last time that he goes in, he does pass out this time as well. He finds a lighter that he's previously gotten rid of, like it's a trinket left
I don't even
over from.
understand what the deal is with that lighter. 'Cause
It's Sarah's lighter.
Who's Sarah?
Sarah is the girl that he gets from the nightclub, like the
Susie?
performer. Susie, my mistake.
Susie.
It's her lighter. It's evidence that she was at the house, and he tried to destroy it by just like hiding it in the fox cage, because he keeps foxes.
Into the fox cage.
The last time that he's in the tomb, though, we move one of the caskets aside, and it reveals a staircase that goes down to like a sub-tomb.
Okay, so I want a sub-tomb so bad now. You know, like a library with a secret entrance. I need
You need a secret entrance to your own grave?
No, I want a coffin that leads to more coffins.
I mean, we could have a coffin that leads to a speakeasy.
Or just a speakeasy, or just
This doesn't
the
have to be
basement.
a thing that you have in death.
What if it just leads to like a shed where we keep the garden hose?
Can you imagine? Oh, man. Hey, guys, do you have like an extra...
Turn left at the coffin.
Yeah. I mean, we should fucking do this. Like, we should just have a coffin. It's like, oh, they left up a Halloween decor. Did somebody just step into that grave?
Yeah, like you just open it and there's stairs. How
Hell
dope would
yeah.
that be? We could do like a fallout shelter or something.
Okay.
You climb into the coffin to get like your canned beans.
I don't know if the last thing I want to see before locking the shelter door is a coffin. Like, hey guys, don't worry, we're gonna be safe. Just step into this coffin with me. We'll avoid the apocalypse. It sounds like a trick.
Don't forget to rebutton the velvet lining. We don't want anyone to find us.
So he goes into her tomb, and then he sees the coffin open itself up, and Evelyn slowly rises out of the casket.
Well, he checks to make sure he's in there because she's not in the family tomb, and there's like a bunch of coffins. We're like, which one has Evelyn in it? And finally, he opens one, and we're like, oh, that's a red wig on a skeleton. That's definitely Evelyn. But as soon as he turns around, Skeleton Evelyn opens her fucking eyes.
It looks amazing.
It looks so fucking creepy.
When you're looking at her, you think, oh, this is a cool little Halloween prop. It does not look like a human being whatsoever.
No, it looks like a corpse. Like I was fully accepting. I'm like, oh, this is rotten Evelyn. Evelyn is actually dead. Okay.
Yeah. And when those eyes open, though, it is like, holy shit, we fucking made it. We're here. She's alive, or she's undead. She's coming out of the goddamn grave.
Like,
it
oh
looks
shit,
amazing.
Evelyn is actually pissed.
Yeah, and obviously he passes out. I think
Yeah, but she fucking comes out of the grave. Like, she climbs up those secret coffin basement stairs. She climbs out of the bricked up tomb. She's on that weird warbly bridge to the tomb.
Yeah,
and
she's gliding through the fucking forest at night.
Being all haunting as fuck with her red hair and her skeleton face. And yeah, it's pouring, it's thunder and lightning. Alan gets stuck in the mud and he's like, whoa.
And then how does he die of fright? Is that the story?
No, I think he goes full cuckoo bananas and they commit him so that they're able to go to his incapacitated will because he's no longer of sound mind.
That's what fucked my brain up, because they read his will. They say that he is effectively not alive anymore. He's so crazy that we can divide his estate up. He ain't ever coming back. And what's great about that too is that he does leave a bunch of money to the psychiatrist and head of the institution where he's been institutionalized. So it doesn't feel like an inside job at all. Like, that guy totally has an incentive to do this.
Above board.
Yeah, but the estate is left to his cousin. Profits of the estate are left to his new wife.
I think it's like renter's rights. Like, she gets to just live there. But I don't think she owns anything.
No, I think if they ever sell it, I think she gets profits of that. But when are they ever going to sell it? It's been in the family for like 1,000 years kind of deal, right? So, I mean, yes, she basically gets to live there for free. What a great deal. And that's where we discover that this has all been like a Simpsons-style con
I was going to
job.
say a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
Like, we go full Scooby-Doo world where the night that Evelyn came out of the grave, Gladys, the wife, takes off the skeleton costume, and she's the one that dressed as Evelyn.
Yeah, it's so good. And she has been in a relationship with his cousin George, and they've conspired together to essentially take his inheritance. Like, we already know that he's kind of cuckoo bananas. He's back in the world, and we're all welcoming him with open arms, but we're all behind his back being like, I think this guy's fucking crazy. And they just create a situation that puts him over the edge.
When you think back on it, you're like, oh, he's the one that keeps feeding him these redheads.
That's true.
Like,
he's just trying to get him into a relationship. I don't think he knows that his cousin, if he maybe knows, but I don't think he expected his cousin to start murdering these women. I think he's just like, hey, why don't you get married so your ghost wife can get real jealous about
like
it?
he starts out by just sending him like, these are women that look like his wife. Maybe he'll fall in love with one. And instead he just like starts murdering them all. And he's like, maybe we'll
this
try
plan is backfiring.
And then he's like, maybe we'll just try a blonde next.
Yeah. Do you think that he had met with and established a con job relationship with all of these women that he's been hooking them up with?
I think so.
That's crazy.
At least 2 we know of.
That's true, because one of them, Susie, comes back.
Were you like, wait, I thought you were dead? Or were you like, at first I was like, who is this?
I sometimes have facial blindness with 70s Italian movies, and I
have facial blindness in general, and their hair changes so much. There were times where the wife was revealed to be doing stuff, and I was like, wait, she was wearing a different wig a minute ago. Is this her?
Yeah, their hair changes, but it's like everybody's hair is very similar. It's like they have several different styles, and they occasionally just like swap hats like it's a cartoon, you know? And so and he's got a type, you know? Like all of the women look the same way, so they look like the same people. And that was confusing at first, but occasionally people say their names out loud, and I'm like, oh, that's this person. In the end, we find out that George and Gladys are a con duo, and while they're celebrating
in a third location.
Well, they got to keep it on the down low. they got to keep it quiet. You know, we don't just have castles to ourselves.
In this super random modern townhouse.
Yeah, it's a cool little Airbnb that's got a nice pool in the backyard with some sulfuric acid just hanging out by the edge. Just don't tip it over. Everything's fine.
That is like a Batman scene waiting to happen.
Yeah. They're having glasses of champagne, and suddenly Gladys starts feeling woozy, and she starts passing out, and that's where Susie appears, and we find out that like it's been a double cross, and it's Susie and George that were really the masterminds behind all of this, and Gladys was just another victim in the line.
But then it's a triple cross because Gladys, in her dying strength, stabs Susie, and George is like, this works out pretty okay for
me. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, saves me a lot of time. He starts like rubbing off his fingerprints on glasses like he's just going to walk out. Like he's like, oh, wait, weird. I don't know what happened here, but I guess the estate and all the money is mine now? Wow. But like on his way out, he's confronted by the police, the psychiatrist, and Alan himself.
We've decided not crazy and actually the protagonist.
Yeah, no, see, this is the quadruple cross where we faked my institutionalization and that this was all a ruse to get you to admit to a crime.
And then they dump him in the acid.
Yeah, they dump the acid into the pool. He falls into it, and then they basically just drag him away while he's kicking and screaming, and his skin is burning.
Where the motherfucking credits roll.
Freeze frame. Alan wins. That's right, motherfuckers. You try and take my money from me. Ha ha. I'm smarter than you. I've got the cops and the psychiatrists in my pocket. No one cares about the women that he's killed.
Yeah, so it's the weirdest. It is the weirdest fucking ending ever.
Like, the serial killer wins.
You are just left with the strangest emotions because we fully like go to black on the revealed bad guy covered in acid, screaming in pain, being carted away by the police officers. But Alan is not cured. Alan has murdered people. He even he beat the shit out of Gladys several times.
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
What is?
Because she wore a red wig and it reminded him of his ex-wife.
He was like, what the fuck? It was a choice.
There isn't even like a look at the end where he like looks directly into the camera and we're like, ooh, wow, dark ending.
Nobody wins.
He basically like it's like a serial killer and the cops high five, like, yeah, try and steal my money, I'm rich. Like that's how the movie ends. It is wild.
It's so wild. We never learn what killed Evelyn.
Nope.
We never learn what the therapy even is for Alan at this point.
No.
Like, is he gonna marry another blonde and hope that she isn't part of a double cross scheme? Like,
No, I think he just got some more money because his cousin will now, like, he's gonna get whatever his cousin's got, probably in an inheritance, because he's gone off to jail, or he's dead. I mean, he might die from his wounds, and then he's just gonna continue to go on killing redheaded women until he's an old man.
Okay, so there's still loose ends, John, and I'm gonna bring them up to you.
Okay.
The silverware that was missing. Somebody robbed the house of silverware. Somebody was dressed in a red wig who Gladys allegedly saw.
Oh, we know that that's George. There's a quick little line where she's like, wow, you looked so good in that red wig.
But it wasn't. It was Susie.
Oh, right. I'm such an idiot. Like 2 seconds later, Susie comes out and he's like, you idiot.
Well, the ghost of Evelyn does appear in the window. We see her very briefly. Alan doesn't give a fuck, which they're like, they put so much effort in like a 13 ghosts to her.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like a
Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, that works too. And he doesn't give a fuck. He like goes to the bathroom. He's like, I'm going outside. But somebody steals this family silverware and dish set, and we eventually find them. They're in another coffin next to Evelyn's body.
Yeah. Well, I think that was just they were stealing the silverware. And
To what end?
I don't know, just to try and like, oh, Evelyn's coming back from the grave to take her silverware.
She wants her wedding gifts.
Yeah. That's probably what it was, yeah.
Okay, here's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Aunt Agatha
Uh-huh.
can walk.
Oh my god! Oh, we have a character who's been in a wheelchair the entire movie, but then seconds before she dies, while she's following her nephew, Alan, you're like, oh, what's going on? Why is he
Or
going
is
to
she
Evelyn's
following
grave?
Gladys?
I don't even fucking remember.
She's following
man.
somebody.
She's following somebody in the goddamn woods. She steps up out of her wheelchair to, peer through some trees, and then somebody hits her over the head with a rock.
Whaps her with a styrofoam rock, and it's wonderful. But you're like, wait a minute. Is she... we had to rewind it. 'Cause
They're
we're like,
all con artists, Kim. Everybody's coming for his money.
everybody's bad. This is a game of 13 Dead and Drive is what this is.
Yeah.
Even the cat is after him.
Wow. Yeah, this movie is unique. I've never seen a movie that has that kind of ending and this kind of tone, and it says nothing.
The ending is so batshit, but honestly, the movie is it's so good.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like the movie as a whole is great, and the comedic touches of like, I don't understand the decisions you made here are great. Like it's not even like a so bad it's good kind of thing. It is very funny though.
Yeah, I have no idea what we were doing with the ending, if maybe it got cut short and there was more explained, because I feel very like, okay, well you've tied the ends, but why are they tied this way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why can she stand?
Yeah, why can she stand? Why doesn't anybody care about the women that he's killed?
What does the decorator think of the sex dungeon? Is it left there?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I'm going to leave. Y'all just go ahead and decorate every room of this house, restore it to its pristine fashion, and don't ever bring up all the torture implements and blood in the downstairs room that I frequent.
Maybe it's supposed to be like a super deep commentary about how like the rich can just get away with anything and they're all bad.
I mean,
and we're
maybe.
supposed to actually take something out of this movie other than like somebody dressed up as a ghost to scare a man to death and giving away all of his money.
It's nuts. The ending could be exactly as it is if they just cut out the scenes where he murdered those girls, and you're like, okay, this totally makes sense. They double cross on a double cross on a double cross.
Yeah,
hilarious.
if he wasn't a murderer and it just started with him bringing his new bride to like his crumbling castle that's crumbling because, his wife died and he's super hurting about it.
But how do you get butts in seats, Kim?
And then all of a sudden ghosts.
How do you get butts in seats? How you selling tickets? Murder.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
As much as I'm like, yeah, it would make more sense if we just cut out half the things that make this movie crazy. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love the insanity of it. It makes it so watchable because you're just like, I have no idea what's happening, but everybody's hair is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great little timestamp of a movie. It's wholly unique. I don't know that I've seen many other movies quite like it, and it's a fun ride.
Yeah, if you want to watch an Italian Scooby-Doo, this is the one to watch.
You really can't undersell how weird the end of this movie is.
Who is the best person in this movie? The psychic? Because she's actually a real psychic?
I guess, yeah. She's the only one not pulling a con.
Yeah.
Give that woman a tip.
Wow.
Actually conjured a ghost. So how you rating this movie, Kim?
But I want to give it a 4 out of 4.
Yeah, whatever. Rate with your heart.
I mean, the ending is awful, but in the best ways.
Yeah, I think the ending, like, the way it ends is the whole reason we're talking about the movie right now. It's the reason we keep rewatching it. Because you're watching them build this story.
And
You're
like, how are
that's
they
how
gonna...
you end it?
Yeah, it was just like, how are they going to get out of this? Like, who is going to be Evelyn?
It's-
Or like, is Evelyn actually undead? Or is Evelyn alive? They give you so little information that it could very well have just been that Evelyn is alive. And she's just like, fuck you, Alan. Stop murdering women.
If the entire movie, like, after the credits, like a Marvel movie, we had a sequence where we just saw a woman in a cafe somewhere with, like, a big hat and sunglasses. And she pulled them down and we realized it's Evelyn. She winks at the camera. Like, that would make total sense.
Have we watched all the credits?
I
believe in that.
It's a crazy finale because it's like the rug gets pulled out from underneath every single character.
There are like 6 rugs, John.
There are 6 rugs. They all get pulled, and then the last one is underneath you. Like the rug gets pulled out from underneath you as a viewer. Like credits roll, you're like, oh shit, we're done here. Okay, all right. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 4. This movie's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the fact that there is a burlesque scene where a burlesque dancer comes out of a fucking coffin.
Comes out of a coffin.
Ass first.
Butt first.
Oh my god.
It's incredible.
It is just cinematic gold.
Should have been one of the good things.
Oh, so good. So good. And you're like, is this Evelyn? And she did play Evelyn. Holy shit. That's a really good metaphor. She was Evelyn coming out of the grave.
Oh, motherfucker.
I mean, Gladys was Evelyn, but she played her ghost a bit.
In our hearts, we're all Evelyn, Kim. But yeah, I did a quick little look right here on Letterboxd. The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave is streaming on the Arrow Video channel, at least right now when we're recording this. You should absolutely check this movie out.
Honestly, in a couple years from now, when everybody forgets it, we're going to do this as a watch party because it is just that bonkers.
It's a lot of fun.
It's an insane movie.
It's bananas, yeah. But let us know what you thought of The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. Hit us up on Twitter at NOFS Podcast or in the Nightmare on Film Street Discord at nofspodcast.com/Discord. We'll be back again very soon with another movie with a equally long title that's equally as atmospheric, has a lot of fucking questions, and is just like gothic to the core.
I love a good title. If you've been a fan of Nightmare on Film Street for a while, consider giving us some support over on Patreon. There's tons of bonus content there. We've been binging our way through the Universal Monsters for a special Patreon-exclusive series we're calling Graveyard Smash. John set me up with a soundboard, so I have a bunch of gothic, spooky sounds.
Unlimited power is how I like to describe it.
I'm mad with power over there. It's been wonderful. I'm trying to figure out how I can convince him to let me do it on the regular podcast.
I think that's going to be a no. I think that's going to be a no. Anytime I have anything to say that she disagrees with, I get a creaky door closed on my voice, and it hurts.
You can find us over at nofspodcast.com/Fiend Club or patreon.com/Nightmare on Film Street. Either of those will take you there. If supporting the podcast is not in the cards for you right now, that is absolutely fine. If you can please just leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening to this to help us grow the show on the charts or however people find it. Positive feedback is, you don't buy shit on Amazon if it doesn't have a review. And same goes for podcasts. So if you could leave us, a kind note, like, oh, they're weird and funny sometimes. 5 stars.
Sometimes, yeah.
That would be great. Thank you so much for listening and for being a fiend. We cannot wait to give you another long title in a week.
But until then, I'm John.
I'm Kim.
Stay creepy.
It appears you made it out alive, but we'll get you next time. Help us to grow the horde. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you subscribe. More terror can be found lurking on our website, nofspodcast.com. Until next time, stay creepy, fiends.